Good morning, Dubai, and welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through all of the trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. And what was everyone talking about yesterday? Only His Highness Sheikh Hamdan and Sheryl Sandberg opening the new Meta HQ in Dubai.
Oh, flex. And Indian superstar Shah Rukh Khan starts dancing and dabbing on the streets of Dubai.
We also have a bit of a fact check for you. Hush Puppy is still under police custody despite what a viral video is saying.
And Marshmallow is taking center stage at Expo 2020 Dubai tomorrow.
And do stay tuned, because later in the show we sat down with Samuel Morris, who completed the world's toughest rowing race. This is comparable to some of the world's toughest endurance challenges. It actually is one of the world's toughest endurance challenges. So if you're interested to learn how he went about that and how he got through those grueling, I think 38 days in a small rowing boat with two teammates as they went across the Atlantic, do stay tuned. But before we get into all of that, what are Kim and Kanye up to?
Okay, Casey, so yesterday was International Women's Day, and a lot of women just shared support for each other, and then of course a lot shared their plight of just what they have to face in the world with, of course, in terms of abuse, domestic abuse, in relationships, just being catcalled out in public.
The real stuff.
Exactly.
That women experience potentially on a daily basis, whether it's like in your home or on the streets.
Exactly. And there was an Instagram post which I saw, and it's basically saying, if Kim Kardashian, with all that money, all those resources in the world, can safely and simply divorce her husband without being harassed and stalked, then it's about time we stop asking women in domestic abuse situations the question, why doesn't she just leave?
Okay, so for people who may not be fully aware of the whole Kim and Kanye situation, they were a strong relationship, it seems. They have 4 kids. We know Kim is very family orientated. However, Kanye started, I guess, going out on social media with rants. And then it looked like the marriage was breaking up, and then people didn't know if it was publicity. But then, some of the stuff he said got kind of, some of the words he used in his songs about, like, suggesting that
he cheated on Kim, and that
there's potentially going to be an abortion, and like all this, like, really, 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 really personal stuff for a family that, although they are quite public, they also are quite guarded when it gets to the real nitty gritty, because of course we all are, and we're all allowed that privacy. But Kanye has gone too far.
Completely gone on a tangent, and it's just bringing out the fact that mental illness doesn't really defend the fact. I mean, like, it doesn't defend misogyny at all. So the fact that they are kind of hiding behind the whole mental health cover, it's just.
Well, yeah, exactly, because that's the really tricky thing, because when you read all of these rants and they go up and they're deleted, and you're like, oh, Kanye's not right, and you know that he's an incredible artist, who's a very, very creative, and you read them and you know that the person who's like writing all of this stuff isn't right. However, he is blasting the mother of his kids to a platform of millions and millions and millions of people, and he's getting support for it. And you put yourself in.
That's what's concerning.
Exactly. And if anyone else, like if she was doing it to him, what would the reaction be?
Exactly. That's what people have come out on social media and said, like, if they were if they were in each other's shoes and the roles were reversed, the reaction would be so different, saying like, oh, women are just attention seekers, what's happening to them, there's no they're not facing any consequences. But in this situation, because it's Kanye and because he is, like you said, such a great entertainer and musician, people are just giving him the benefit of the doubt and calling him like, oh, Ye is GOAT, so he can get away with this. But that's the thing, like,
The thing is, when stuff comes out, there's always going to be on social media, you never please anyone. So when a post like that comes out, there's going to be people supporting Kanye and there's going to be people supporting Kim. However, I just know that if Kim Kardashian chose to rant like that and blast out and kind of share torrid details about her marriage to the public, she would be vilified. She would be ripped down. And is it because she's a Kardashian? Is it because she's a woman? I'm not sure. But it just, there's definitely two things at play here that Kim wouldn't get away with what Kanye is doing.
Exactly, and this is just one example of people that we know, people that we see on our screens every day. So it's just like putting them in the forefront of like, oh look, this happens to such affluential women, and then how can it not happen to like just like, you know, our everyday ordinary neighbors or friends and families? So it's scary. It's a scary world out there.
Let's bring it a little bit closer to home.
Yes.
And to big local Dubai news. And do let us know your thoughts about Kim and Kanye, by the way. We do love to read your comments after the show. But jumping into our top story today, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, Crown Prince of Dubai, and Sheryl Sandberg launched the new Facebook office, which is, of course, the new Meta office, HQ, which is the parent company of Facebook, WhatsApp, and all of the above, and more, and Instagram. And it all took place on Dubai International Women's Day. So His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Rashid Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai and Chairman Executive Council, opened Meta's new regional headquarters in Dubai Internet City. The opening event was attended by Sheryl Sandberg, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Meta. She's also the founder of Lean In and Option B. She's an incredible businesswoman in her own right, and the fact that she was here in Dubai on International Women's Day, like she's literally one of the leading female business leaders in the world, shows what a huge commitment one of the biggest social media platforms is putting into the region.
Very true. And His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum said that the establishment of Meta's new office in the Emirate reflects Dubai's growth as a global business hub and the continued confidence of the world's largest technology companies in the city as a base for tapping new opportunities and advancing innovation.
And I was very lucky to attend.
Of course.
We got a press invite, and it was super exciting because it was one of these things where like you get an invite from Meta and you're like, what is that? Like, how cool is that? And you have no idea what to expect. And they have basically kind of it's an office expansion. So Meta is really kind of just a bit of a background. Meta builds technologies that help people connect. So find communities and grow businesses. So when Facebook launched back in 2004, it changed the way people connect. And now they have apps like Messenger and Instagram and WhatsApp, which we've already mentioned. And it basically connects billions of people around the world. But what Meta is doing is moving beyond kind of 2D. This is 2D. Moving beyond this. And they're kind of focusing on immersive experiences into virtual reality and to help build the next evolution in social technology. So at the beginning, they kind of explained to us what that was. Because for me, I hear Meta, and I know that Facebook is now Meta, that's the parent company, and I know that other companies are also investing heavily into the metaverse, but I still need help understanding it.
Of course, like
is that just
us
me?
all, no, all of us, like metaverse, you just think of like holograms popping out of your screens or like virtual reality situation where you put on something like goggles and you go into the metaverse.
Yeah, so it's hard to visualize how it's going to, I guess, translate into real life. But they kind of broke that down for us, and that was kind of like the introduction. And then Sheryl Sandberg walked into the room, and she is just like this force. She's very charismatic, and she spoke to us. She mentioned Ukraine, by the way, and she said how social media platforms are helping in terms of like how they have managed, how Facebook and Instagram alone, through donations from the people, how community groups have already raised $20 million. And then she went into, of course, it being International Women's Day and why she was here. And she's doing a lot, you know, she was out at Expo as well, and how it's very important for women to thrive. And when women thrive, communities thrive, companies thrive, and countries thrive. So she is pushing the female vote constantly, and that's what we love about her.
It's amazing. And just the fact that the space is so visionary, the whole company is so visionary, like Meta, and this is the next step. Like it's on everyone's minds of what everyone is talking about, except for if you put aside NFTs and cryptos, the next big thing that people are talking about.
All of the bucket things I just don't get.
It's just like the smart people conversations, not for us.
But the thing is, like, we talk, like, I think we do get it, but I just, sometimes I think
just the surface.
I get the surface level.
Yeah. Nothing deeper. But yeah, the metaverse.
I just got a little, Ali was like, Ali is our voice of reason in the room beyond, and he was like, NFTs, the metaverse, and crypto are all related.
How is the metaverse, and just because it's all digital?
They're all practically on the same line.
Okay.
However, as well as that, as well as Sheryl Sandberg, which is a huge boost for the region, I mean, it just shows the massive commitment. Then His Highness Sheikh Hamdan walked in.
Oh, your dream moment.
It was a dream moment. He was flanked by photographers, and he switched on the new Meta icon in the Dubai office, which is obviously a huge moment for them. And you can see all of the videos on our social media, and it was just it was one of those kind of like, how do you have International Women's Day with Sheryl Sandberg and then His Highness attends? It was just one of those like amazing Dubai moments.
Honestly, such a flex. Like the day Fazza walks into this office, maybe to inaugurate Studio One.
Yeah, Studio One.
That we've been talking about for like months now.
One day it'll happen. We'll manifest it. Does manifesting mean like closing your eyes and thinking about it for 30 seconds, or is there a process for manifesting?
I don't know, maybe just thinking about it all the time and talking about it all the time. Like very, very soon. It's just gonna happen super soon. But right now what's happening is an Indian superstar, that's Shah Rukh Khan, he started dancing and dabbing on the streets of Dubai. Now, how was your day? Did you have fun, Dad? Now, thanks to you, I had the best day of my life. That's a conversation between Shah Rukh Khan and Suhana Khan. Now, there's a video that was made in collaboration with Dubai Tourism and the Indian superstar Shah Rukh Khan. And the video shared experiences and adventures around the Emirate, and we must say the city has never looked better. The ad, which has the Indian star flaunting his whitened smile and long tresses, begins with SRK getting a call from his daughter Suhana, reminding him to have fun whilst he's shooting in Dubai, and it was all uphill from there.
King Khan then ran around Al Seef, the Dubai Mall, Souk Al Bahar, Jumeirah Beach, the Museum of the Future, yes, Blue Waters Island, and of course Palm Jumeirah, practically landmark hopping around the city. And
now the man that drips swag literally dabbed better than half the rappers out there during the 3-minute long Dubai advert and of course during the pandemic. We know that Shah Rukh Khan fans saw and heard very little from the megastar, but it's safe to say that with this upcoming Bollywood movie on the horizon, this little promo was just the icebreaker, and King Khan is now back. And how?
So he wasn't that active during the pandemic?
Not at all. So he was staying out of the public eye and just not as active as the other stars. Of course, everyone had their downtime during the pandemic, just like chilling at home, chilling with the family. But of course, like a whole bunch of controversies in India, which is like never ending. He tried to stay out of most of them. And I don't think he didn't shoot any movies, commercials, ads. So now with this Dubai tourism thing, advert, he's back.
How would you rate his dabbing style?
Oh, it was so good.
So I know what a dab is, but I feel like there's so many like TikTok moves that I've nearly forgotten. Can you just give me a quick
of the dab?
Yeah. That was pathetic. That was pathetic. You have to do it properly.
You just got to see him do it. I can't. After seeing him, like, no one can match up. Why even try?
Ali would be a good dabber.
So
this is the thing. But that's why the head has to go down at the same time. That was insane.
That was so good.
Thank you.
You're dab queen.
Oh, Ali just said the dab is very outdated. What's in Shah Rukh Khan? No, you can't just say the dab is outdated when Shah Rukh Khan has just done a massive tourism video with the dab.
You know what he should have done?
Back.
He should have just done the TikTok one.
Oh yeah, but that's what?
Well, it took me a very long time to get that.
Why is it so hard?
Honestly, my sister had to teach me. Like, that's how.
Try and do it right now if you're watching at home.
Okay, take two shirts.
But just do it the easy way. Just do it what you've just done because it looks easy.
Okay, take 2 shirts and then yeah, you got it.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh, natural.
Yeah. No, take 2
No.
shirts and like this.
Take 2 shirts.
Yeah, just like this.
Oh, I'm not doing it right.
Okay. This hand goes this way, this hand goes
Oh,
that
it's
way.
easy. Oh no, it's not. What?
At the same time. Okay.
One is going like this,
Yeah.
and the other is going like this.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay. At the same time. 1, 2, 3. Almost. But like I mean, what is that?
Simran is teaching us how to do it, and Ali just did it a whole way better, and he looked better at it. Ali, come show the people. Come show the people.
It's not. No one does it like that. It's actually like this. Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta move back slightly.
You're both doing 2 totally different things.
Okay, come here.
Ali's doing like a little bit of a. We'll put it on Instagram after. We'll be like, who's actually doing it right? So we'll have a.
Ali and me.
Yeah, and then I'll show you how it's actually done.
Oh, she got it. Casey got it. Oh, that's better than this. Whatever this is.
I could just keep going.
Oh, she got the move.
Poor Simran. She's just like, what are you doing? Why am I here? Okay, let's jump into our next story. We'll put that on Instagram because I do want to know who's actually doing it right, so I can really learn. I think you were doing it right.
Thanks. Okay, then we'll put it on Instagram.
I think Simran's doing it right. Okay, next story. Fact check. Hush Puppy is still under police custody. So is another reported scammer on the loose? The answer is no. A video that was going viral showed Hush Puppy out of police custody has proved to be false, inaccurate, fake news. A little recap on who Hush Puppy is. Raymond Abbas, aka Hush Puppy, admitted taking part in a fraudulent $1.1 million school financing scam, along with additional cyber and business email compromise schemes, according to the United States Justice Department. The reports back at the time showed proceeds of this scam were used to purchase a $230K watch, which he flaunted on the gram to his 2.5 million followers, along with a lot of flexes on his Instagram account, which is still active, by the way.
Oh God, now the Nigerian social media star that was living a jet-setting life in Dubai before he was arrested in a joint operation between Interpol and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and Dubai police over $1 million fraud allegations. The video, which shows he's been released, was reportedly taken 3 years ago, according to AFP fact-checking service, viewed thousands of times, and it was actually a video from 2017.
So the real truth, he is still under police custody. The most recent updates we have is that he admitted charges of money laundering after being denied bail back in 2020. So in 2020, he was denied bail. Then he admitted charges of money laundering for his alleged role in a massive money laundering scam. So what's happening now is he's awaiting sentencing. And the video showed him, I think, coming into arrivals or maybe leaving, and it looked like he was in a good place. Lots of people saw it. Everyone was like, hey, I thought he was still under custody. He still is.
That's insane. When the story broke out last year or the year before, I think last year. It was
we've had kind of a rolling thing. So I think it happened maybe 2 years ago. And the last update we had was in July 2021 when he...
Yeah.
When he was denied bail and he admitted the charges.
It's crazy. Like someone who lived such... Like for so long, he lived with so many lavish things and possessions and just jet setting of like we said, like just leading this amazing opulent life and just getting away with so much scamming. Like it's insane.
Well, we're not, in terms of what he's admitted or reported.
Yeah.
There's still that line. So in terms of what I think he's admitted part of the kind of the school financing scam.
Yeah.
But showing a massive lavish life, you know, we've seen it recently.
Of course, with the Tinder swindler.
And Miss Anna. Someone, did you see that great meme, Tinder swindler and inventing Anna? And it was like, imagine if they met and he'd be like, I need money now. And what would her response be?
Like my bank's, not the network's loose or something like that.
Yes, can't get it. The bank network's a scam. I'll get it to you tomorrow. Can you do a good Anna Levy voice? Anna
Simon.
No, yeah, but her voice is so penetrating. Anna Delvey.
You gotta do it. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna watch it tonight. Everyone does your voice. You gotta do it.
I'm gonna try. Ask me something that you would ask your rich German heiress friend who's like part Russian.
Okay, so would you prefer going on a jet or a yacht to my party in the Seychelles?
I'll get a helicopter, darling. Oh, that was so bad. Let's move on. That is what she would say. She would say it, but the accent is terrible. No, she wouldn't say it like that. She would say, I'll get a helicopter. She'd be like, someone will carry me, or like something really like, oh, should we get the plane? It would be like, we'll get the jet plus, you know, like she'll say something like so VIP you can't even imagine. I can't do accents.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I want to watch it just to see if like you the justice to the accent. Okay, guys, our next story. There are 23 days left, not 23 days, 22 days left, sorry, until Expo 2020 Dubai closes its doors. So it's time for another huge concert to take place. And well, get ready because on March 10th, which is tomorrow, someone very special will be taking center stage. Someone who is behind a mask, identity unknown, but music is hitting all the top charts. It's none other than Marshmello. Marshmello.
And we only got announced yesterday. How amazing is that?
Oh my God. Did you guys go wild seeing the post on our Instagram? Like the engagement was amazing. And clearly he has massive fans here in Dubai. And he'll be taking over Jubilee stage for a night of non-stop dancing on March 10th, just tomorrow.
Expo 2020 Dubai is seeing another huge concert that, by the way, doesn't come with a pricey ticket. All you need is your Expo ticket and you get in. The DJ was last in the UAE back in 2019, so it's long enough since we've seen him perform. Back then, he performed at the Abu Dhabi F1 Grand Prix after race concerts, which honestly was just a phenomenal show. And could you believe that you don't need to pay to see it? That's why Expo is just giving us this major flex in the last month. All you need to do is get your regular valid Expo ticket. The night of non-stop music kicks off at 8:30 p.m. It's expected to be crowded, so be there on the early side. And not only will Marshmello be there, Miss Simran will be there.
Right.
You're going for many reasons. Expo tomorrow is going to be amazing. I just feel like it's just going to be it's like we're in the last 30-day countdown.
Yeah.
They're expecting millions of visitors. We've just topped over 17 million visitors to Expo, by the way, which is amazing. And it's just, I'm sure we're going to reach over the 20 before the end, which is just fabulous.
Literally everyone that's coming to Dubai, from celebrities to politicians, influencers, bloggers, sportsmen, everyone's been down at Expo. Every single person. So if you stay in Dubai and haven't been to the Expo yet, it's just like, what is going on? Just doesn't make sense.
Can we get an answer on that, by the way? Is there anyone that hasn't been yet? If you're in Dubai, if you haven't been, what are you doing? You need to go. Like, it's just phenomenal. Just the food, just the food, like the food trucks and like all the like tiny little like restaurants and hidden gems that you find. Like the New Zealand Tiaki restaurant is amazing, and that's going to be gone. If you have one more chance to check it out.
The New Zealand restaurant.
Yeah, it's like just like authentic, good quality New Zealand food. There's a burrata bar. There's an amazing. Have you been to the amazing vegan restaurant?
I've been to a lot of the amazing vegan restaurant.
I haven't been, but it's one of my. I need to go before I go.
I went to Mudra. I don't know about.
I think it's Mudra.
It's Mudra.
Is it Mudra?
In the sustainability district. Maybe, because I've been to that one. That's a fully vegan restaurant with drinks and food and dessert.
The vegan cookies.
That's floozy.
Floozies.
Yeah. Oh, floozy is good. Oh my God, the food there is so good. And they have like really healthy stations, and they have unhealthy stations, and they have high joint.
You could do both. Go for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Don't leave. And Rove, the hotel is right there, so you can stay over if you want. You know, like a sleepover at Expo.
If you are heading down to Expo tomorrow, let us know, because of course Marshmello is going to be performing. But do stay tuned, because right now after the break we're going to be joined by Samuel Morris. He completed the world's toughest rowing race with teammates across the Atlantic, 3,000 miles non-stop in under 40 days. Just phenomenal. He's going to be with us right after this. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. We are now joined by Sam Morris, a chartered surveyor by trade who took on a mega challenge. Joined by teammates, they rowed 3,000 miles across the Atlantic to raise important awareness for the increasing volume of plastic that we're finding in our ocean. First of all, a massive congratulations and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Casey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So you have undertaken a massive challenge with Team Peninsula. First of all, tell us a little bit about it.
So now myself, my two teammates, Will and Toby, we're now like part of a very small club of people. Less than 1,000 people have rowed across the Atlantic versus more than 10,000 people now have reached the summit of Mount Everest. We did it to raise awareness about plastics in the oceans for two amazing charities. One of them is a non-profit here, which is called ASRAC, and the other one is based out of the UK. It's now called Ocean Generation. It was formerly Plastic Oceans UK. We chose these two charities because they do a three-pronged approach. They look at cleaning up the rivers and oceans. They also look at working with governments to introduce new policies. And the third part is they do the education part as well. So they go into schools, etc. So we took on the row. We set off on the 12th of December and we got to Antigua on the 19th of January. So it took us 38 days and 13 minutes.
And 38 days of solid rowing. So going into it, how long were you expected to take?
The world record for a trio is 33 days, I think it is. Might be 34, but yeah, like 33 or 34 days. We were planning to do it in approximately 40. That was our target, and coming in sub 40 was awesome. We came 8th out of 36 teams doing it this year. It was the largest ever fleet to go across.
And
so
let's go back to the right start. Let's say, for example, you're backed by rowing experts, so you have guidance as you're training, but what actually inspired you three to get together and take this on?
There are a number of different reasons for this. Obviously, I mentioned the charities, and we wanted to do something to raise awareness and highlight the plight of plastics in the oceans. But from a personal level, I would say there's always the joke that we're not married, so therefore we had the freedom to go out and do this. But I think that the actual reason for me was the last few years I've been running a lot of ultra marathons and a lot of endurance sports, and I just felt that it was a sort of logical next step. And I think, nowadays people are going out, they're buying a lot of sort of material goods, larger houses and luxury cars, etc. But I don't necessarily think that all these material things actually make you happy. And I think there's a lot to be said in the fact that you find comfort through discomfort and pushing your mind and body as far as you can possibly push it. And I think this is the most extreme endurance event you can do on the planet, because you're literally rowing for 12 to 14 hours a day in sometimes massive seas. So we had 7 or 8 meter waves for about 3 or 4 days halfway across. And it's the sleep deprivation and the fatigue. So it's all of that combined in a tiny little enclosed environment. So for me, I just wanted to see how far I could push my body and mind, as well as obviously make a large gesture and try to raise awareness for the plastics issue.
Amazing. So like you said, it is the most difficult endurance race on the planet, and you've actually done the Marathon des Sables. So how do they actually compare?
They're two different beasts. They're both magical experiences. The Marathon des Sables, or MDS, is one hell of a challenge, but at the end of the day, you can be rescued. Whereas when you're rowing across an ocean, if something happens to you, you're basically on your own for probably 12 to 24 hours at best if someone can get to you. So it's all about survival, whereas the Marathon des Sables is more about endurance, I would say. Yeah.
Can you take us into the boat situation? It's very difficult for us to imagine having I know the boats are going to be on show at the at the International Boat Show, but what actually is the physical boat like when you're inside rowing? How comfortable is it?
Sure. It's just under 9 meters long. We had something called a Rannoch R45, which is like the kind of Rolls Royce or the Bentley of the ocean rowing boats. They're not very stable, so as you're walking sort of past somebody rowing, the boat does lean, and even down to when somebody's sleeping in one of the two cabins. There's a cabin at the front and the back, and the bow and the stern. And if somebody's sleeping and they roll over to one side and you're rowing, you literally go and wake them up and tell them to get back in the middle. That's how unstable they are. Very cramped conditions, 3 rowing spaces, a lot of storage in the hull for all the food. There's an onboard water maker because we make drinking water from seawater, or made drinking water from seawater. Yeah, besides that, in a storm, you get into the cabins and you put out what's known as a power anchor, which is like a 200-meter rope with a parachute on the end, and it holds your boat facing into the waves, and you just get in the cabins. And these boats are so strong and robust, they're made to withstand storms. So you know that you're relatively safe as long as you're always clipped onto the boat.
That's right. Clipped on. And did you come did you come into contact with any storms throughout the trip?
No, we were quite lucky from that perspective, but we did encounter some massive waves for about 3 or 4 days. And at night time, it's pretty scary. It's like rows of like terraced houses coming towards you just repeatedly. And sometimes it was so dark, you just didn't sort of see them, but you just heard the roar coming towards you. And then you just suddenly get smashed by these massive waves. Luckily, we didn't capsize. We generally went over the top of them, but a few waves did actually come over the top of us, and we got very wet. And at one point, 3 times our rudder sort of disengaged at night time in the darkness, which meant our boat was then side on to the waves, which is very dangerous because that's when it starts to roll. But luckily, we didn't capsize. So, yeah, but it was scary at the time.
The thing is, exactly, you're saying this all so nearly casually, and I think many of us can't even imagine what that must feel like to be inside this kind of enclosed space and have, you know, the thundering waves coming down on you.
Yeah.
How do you mentally prepare for this?
So there were 2 aspects of the training. Obviously, physically, we had a trainer who's also rowed a number of oceans as well, a chap named Tom Kelly, who I highly recommend. The other aspect is the mental training, where you've got to have everything out in the open with your teammates, and you've got to brainstorm every sort of eventuality. So we spent, close to 2 years leading up to train for the race, and the mental part of that, we did a lot of. It was like marriage counselling, where we would sit there and actually work through a marriage counselling plan and talk about how we were scared of things, what things would excite us, what things annoyed us about each other, just to make sure everything was out in the open. Because mid-Atlantic, when you're sleep deprived and tired, that's when obviously stress goes up and things can flare up over little things. We had to make sure that we were fully mentally prepped for it.
Well, that actually leads into my next question, because I was wondering about your teammates. So you were dubbed Mr. Motivator, and then you also had Mr. Method and Mr. Morale. So throughout it, did you kind of stand by those nicknames, or did you kind of push into each other's boundaries a little bit?
Yeah, I would say we would, but at the same time, everything's quite fluid because everyone has their ups and downs at different times. So you go through massive highs and massive lows. So at certain times you've got to step up as a motivator. Other times you've got to step up and be a leader. Other times you've got to just sit back and bite your tongue. So everyone sort of changes their role depending on what's needed. And we all knew what we had to do to get through. And we were quite lucky. So we finished the row as friends, whereas some teams unfortunately finish and they don't talk again. Whereas we got off the boat and we're still friends, which is the main thing. Yeah.
That's really amazing to hear. My final question is about just being on the boat, and is there any downtime throughout the race? Like, do you have a phone, or are you connected to Instagram? Do you have a book? Can you take your mind away from the race, or is it 24 hours razor sharp focus until you get to the end?
For sure. So when you're not rowing, you have 1 to maybe 3 hours off the oars at a time, depending on what your shift patterns were. So when you're off the oars, you're making water, you're getting calories in, you're then trying to sleep, you're trying to get the salt off your body as well because of all the salt sores. But then other things to distract us were the wildlife. We saw lots of dolphins. One of the pods of dolphins must have been about 100. It was huge. It was just vast as far as you could see. We saw whales came up, and their blowholes were blowing. It was very cool. We had sharks following us as well. So you don't actually see the sharks, you just see the fins. We had sea turtles as well. That was very cool. Very nice birds as well. All the way across, there were birds, which was quite mind-blowing actually in the mid-Atlantic. And then the other amazing thing as well, like 2 other things were like cleaning the hull, because you had to clean the hull 2 or 3 times. And at its deepest, the Atlantic's 5 kilometers deep. So you jump off the boat, obviously you're tied on, and you're there swimming, cleaning the hull, 4 hours after seeing a shark fin go by, which is a bit scary. And that's your nearest land is 5 kilometers underneath you, and the nearest people are in the International Space Station. So that was quite a cool experience. And then the other super cool experience for me was the phosphorescence. So the plankton glows at night time. So you get these patches of plankton every now and then. And there was one night when it was flat calm, plankton was glowing everywhere. And then every little ripple had a really intense little line across it. every oar stroke was really bright, so that was cool. And then there was no moon that night, so we had the full stars above us, no clouds, and the full arc of the Milky Way coming down from the horizon to the other side with the glowing phosphorescence. I mean, literally, I tried to take photographs, but they didn't come out. It was absolutely magical. Yeah, so one hell of an experience.
It sounds positively unreal, and it's the type of thing that only few people in this world will ever get to experience. And I'm sure there's people watching who would like to experience it, but of course it's not for everyone. Can you give, I think, maybe one piece of advice for anyone who would ever consider it, something that you didn't know going in that might help people considering to take it on?
Sure, it's really just a sign up thing. Just sign up. Once you pay your money, you're locked in. You've got to go for it. I started off in 2016 signing up for the NBS. Approached the best ultra running coach in the region here called Lee Harris, and said to Lee, please could he train me? And Lee said to me, what's your ultra endurance background? And I said, well, I've used to play team sports. And he took me under his wing, and 9 months later I did the Marathon des Sables. And same thing with the rowing as well, having never rowed before, nor had Will or Toby. We signed up, had a 2-year lead-in period, and you just learn as you go, and you that's it. So just sign up, get on with it. Otherwise, if you're having a midlife crisis, go out and buy a sports car. One of the two. So, yeah.
One or the other. And dare I ask, what's next if you've completed 2 of kind of the toughest endurance races on the planet?
Very busy at work this year, working on quite a large project here. After that, I'm thinking about a race in the States. It's similar to the Marathon des Sables. It's 265 kilometers, 5 days in the US. It's called the Grand to Grand. So that's my bucket list for maybe September 23.
So just another easy one to tick off.
Exactly, yeah. So the midlife crisis continues.
Okay, before you leave us, we know that it was super important for all of you, the cause and the awareness you're raising for plastic in the ocean. Can people still donate? And if people want to support, how can they do that?
So unfortunately, in the UAE, individuals are not allowed to donate. So we were very clear about this. The laws here are very strict. So we have a Just Giving page, which people can go to our website and find the link. But I've got to be very clear that we are not raising any funds for charity. We're raising funds for the expedition and from non-UAE individuals, just to be clear on that. Okay.
Very clear. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, that was that was Sam Morris, who has completed.
Oh, you froze with that.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. An absolutely phenomenal challenge that you've completed, and a massive well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Casey. Lovely to meet you. Have a great afternoon.
That is it for us on the Lovin Dubai show. See you later. Bye-bye.